Hi there, at J.A.Harmonicas we had a lot of requests for a small and portable toolkit that will easily fit your luggage when you go traveling. And this toolkit contains the necessary tools for tuning a reed, adjusting a reed and replacing a reed. And the method that we like to use when replacing a reed is re-riveting the reeds. And the reason is that you need less tools when you're going to re-rivet the reed, and it's a lot easier. The screws that you usually are using when you're reattaching a reed are M1.4, which is very small, and you need drills and you need taps, etc. Replacing a reed using the riveting system is much easier. And hang in there and I will show you how. Welcome to this instruction video for the Diatonic Harmonica Toolkit from J.A.Harmonicas. It comes in a zipper bag like this, very small and very handy. So the toolkit consists of the following parts. It's the case, it's the reed wrench, it's the reed gapping tool or plinking tool, and its new rivets, tuning tool, screwdriver, riveting pad, riveting die, riveting punch, and a de-riveting tool. Let's take a look at the different parts. This is the case, and it will easily fit all the tools that are in the toolkit, but it will also fit some of your tools that you might already have before you buy this toolkit. This is your screwdriver. It features a PH0 and a 3mm flathead in one end. And in the other end we have a slightly larger PH1 and a 4mm flathead. This is your reed centering tool. You use this tool to center the reeds in the reed slots. Let me show you how. If you take a reed plate like this, and you put your reed wrench at the back of the reed on the rivet pad, and then you can twist the reed, and then you would like to twist it so it's in center of the reed slot. And the easiest way to see if the reed is in center is to have some kind of light coming from the back of the reed plate while doing this, so you can clearly see that it's in center. When you're going to center reeds, either if the reed is on the reed plate from the stock harmonica or if you're in the process of changing a reed, when you need a light source, you can use this rivet pad, and you can actually place this on top of your cell phone. And in your cell phone you need to have a bright screen. If you pull up notes or some kind of app that has a very bright background, place this rivet pad on your cell phone and then place your reed plate on the hole here in the rivet pad, and then you can take your reed centering tool and center the reed, and then you can see the light coming through the reed slot, and therefore you can easily see if the reed is in center or not. This is your reed tuning tool. It has a wooden holder and it has a ceramic tip. And personally, I think this tool is much better than a regular file. Let me show you why. When tuning a reed, you will need your tuning tool, and you will also need your reed centering tool. And you'll take a reed centering tool and you will take the opposite side of it and you will slide that underneath the reed, and only slide it until you can feel a very slight resistance, and then you should stop. This supports the reed so we are able to tune it. And the reason why I like these ceramic files is because you have very easy access when you're tuning. As you can see here, I have very easy access to the tip of the reed, but I also have very easy access to the back of the reed. And if I would use a standard tuning file like this, I would be having problems accessing the reed when tuning. As you can see, I would hit the reed next to it, and in worst case I might damage the reeds that are next to it. And yet again, with this tuning tool, it is much easier to access when tuning. Another good thing as well is that it doesn't create any filing marks. As you can see here, these are the factory filing marks. You won't get that with this tuning tool. So if the pitch of your reed is either too low or too high, you need to adjust that. And the way you adjust that is, if it's, let's say, too low in pitch, then you want to make the reed lighter, and then you would like to remove material from the front of the reed. And if the reed is too high in pitch, then you want to make the reed vibrate slower, which means that we would like to remove material from the back of the reed. And how much we remove, that of course depends on how much out of tune the reed is. This is your reed gapping tool, and with this tool we can adjust the gapping of the reeds. And the gapping means the distance between the reed plate and the reed itself. So the distance from this reed plate here, the surface here, to where the reed sits. So for instance, this would be a low gapping and this would be a high gapping. And if your gapping is too low, then you might want to push the reed up a little bit so you get your gapping higher. And if it's too high, you can push on this side to get it lower. But this tool has another cool feature when tuning, where we can use our tuning tool. If you're in a hurry and need to retune your harmonica, remove your cover plates from your harmonica, take a reed gapping tool, push it into the reed chamber and through the reed slot, so it comes out on the other side like this. And now we can take our reed tuning tool and we'll have it in this direction. And then now we can remove material from the tip of the reed to raise it in pitch, or we can remove material from the back of the reed to lower the pitch. And if we want to retune the draw reed plate, the other side here, then we could just use our reed centering tool like we did before and just push that under the reed, and then we can retune it. These are your de-riveting and riveting tools. And when using these tools, we want to have a nice hard surface underneath. Either a concrete floor or something hard like that, or we can use a piece of thick metal like this. And when we're going to remove a broken reed, we want to take our rivet pad and place it like that, and then we want to take our riveting die and want to place this into the hole of the rivet pad like that. And what this rivet pad does is it supports the reed plate when it's laying on the riveting die. So if we're going to remove, let's say here, we're going to remove the whole 2 draw reed because that's broken. Practice this on bad broken reed plates first, before you start with your nice and fine harmonicas. We want to place these reed plates with the rivet head into the hole here in the rivet die, like so. Then what we want to do is we want to take our de-riveting tool. We want to place this tool on the back side of the rivet, like so. And then the only tool that I don't include in the toolkit is a hammer. And the reason is because most people have a hammer. Then you want to hit this once or twice, like so. And there we have our broken reed and our reed plate. And then what we want to do is, if this would be our new reed, if we harvested this reed from some scrap reed plates, this hole here in the reed would be slightly too big, which means we need to take our riveting tool and we want to place this on top of the rivet pad on the reed, and then we want to hit it like so. And what this does is this hole here gets smaller, it shrinks. And we want to do the exact same thing on the reed plate as well. So we want to take our riveting tool and we want to place that on the reed plate where the reed is going to sit, and we want to hit it like so. And that also shrinks the hole, so the new rivet sits nice and tight. So these are your rivets. And we want to take the reed plate like so, and you can see there's a pointy end on the rivets. We want to stick that through the hole here in the reed plate, and I can barely push this through. This is great, this is how it should be. And when I gotten a little bit through, I can break this off like so. Then you can see half of the rivet sticks out there and the other half sticks out here. So what we want to do is, this is the pointy end of the rivet. We want to place this part into the hole in our riveting die. Then we want to take
our rivet tool, place it on top of the rivet, and then hammer that down until it's flush with the reed plate. And there you can see it sticks out like that. Then we want to take our new reed, or our harvested reed, and we want to place that on to the rivet like this. And then this is too tight as well to be pushed down by hand. So what we want to do is we want to take this reed plate with a reed sitting like this and place that on top of the rivet die and into the hole as well. Take our riveting tool and a hammer and then give it a few punches like so, and there you have the reed. Now it sits down against the reed plate. Now we want to take our reed centering tool, it looks like this, and we want to center the reed in the reed slot. And what you want to have now is when you have a light coming through the back side of the reed plate, so you can see when it's in center. And the hard thing here is that it's very easy to center the reed at the tip of the reed, but it's much harder to center the reed at the back of the reed. So for instance, if this reed would be sitting more to this side than to that side, if you would then center this reed try to center this reed in the reed slot, this reed would end up like this. Too much at the back to this side and too much to that side at the front. So what you want to do in this case, if you want to move the reed at the back to that side, and then when you're turning it up again, then you get it nicely centered in the reed slot. And there's an easy way that I learned from Rick Epping how to do this. And if we remove our riveting die, you can see that there's a hole in this there. Then you can take this riveting die and you can push this onto your new reed like so. And what you want to do now is this: if this reed sits too much to this side at the back of the reed, you can take this tool here and you can twist it like this. And what this does, it actually bends the rivet. And when it bends the rivet, it bends the rivet in that direction, then it moves the whole reed in that direction. And then we can look in the light again and see if it's in center again. And if it's in center and we're happy with it, then we'll just place our riveting die back into the rivet pad like so. Place your reed plate onto the riveting die, and now it's important that the reed that we want to re-rivet there sits on top of the riveting die. Then we want to take our riveting tool, place that on top of the rivet, take our hammer and hit it like so. And then we can look at it, and we can see that it shrunk a little bit, but we need to hit it a couple of times more. That's better. And what we can do now is that we can recheck if the reed is actually in center. And if the reed is not in center, if the reed moved when we're hitting it with a hammer, if the reed moved like so or like so, then we can always take the reed wrench and center it up. But if the reed moved like this or like that, which means the back part of the reed moved to either right or to left, then we need to move it again. But this time we can't move the reed using this tool, because now this tool won't fit onto the rivet. So let's say in this case that this reed moved to the right. At the back of the reed, that part moved to the right. Then we can take something that's really nice, hard and sturdy like this, and we can place our reed plate like this against this hard metal surface. Then we'll take our riveting die again, and we'll place this on the side of the rivet. So you want to place your riveting die on the side here, and then we want to take our hammer and we want to hit the die here, and that moves the rivet to the left and it moves the reed to the left. So then we'll take riveting die, put it on the reed pad, against the rivet, hold that there, take our hammer and hit it. Doesn't need much. Then we can recheck it again against the light source and see if it's in center. And if it is in center and we're happy with it, then we'll place our riveting die back again in the riveting pad, take our reed plate, place it onto the rivet pad and riveting die, and be sure to have the reed that you want to rivet. You want to be sure that that reed is on top of the riveting die. Take a riveting tool, place it on top of the rivet, take your hammer and hit it once more. And now that looks more or less like the other rivets. So that's how you can de-rivet and re-rivet reeds.